Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM. It is sunny and 60.
Unbelievable. Is it June already? Oh my gosh.
I took a nice little walk with Pam earlier. We had like a walk and talk meeting, and like, so nice. So nice. It was like almost like too warm.
But you take a walk yesterday and you're hitting patches of ice on flipping sidewalks.
But you know what? I did it that day too. I took walks yesterday and the day before. It's a really funny Hoosier phenomenon, actually. Here's what happens.
Tell us.
So was it Friday where it was 50s or something like that? Maybe
it
Thursdays
was almost 60 degrees at noon
on Friday. But then it went back down to 30.
Yeah,
we don't care. If you give us 60 and sunny, and if it's like 30 and sunny the next day, it might as well be still 60 for me because I'm already there. I'm already mentally in spring. I don't care if it was 10 and sunny. I'm still acting like it's spring outside.
And folks, the weather is so nice these last few days. It's made Drew country curious.
Okay, so
here we go. That was the phrase I heard when I came into the shop this afternoon.
I guess we're talking about
country curious. Should we give some love to Robert Miller and Son first?
Well, we can, yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Well, it's the last week of this sale, so you got to get in there big because February, I don't know if you guys know this, March 1st is Friday. It's absurd. Crazy. We're almost a quarter of the way through. Celebrate the month of love with our February sale at Robert Miller and Son. Enjoy exclusive discounts when you choose to pay with cash or check and receive a generous 25% off your purchase. I don't know if you guys know that. That's a quarter of the price gone. Opt for the convenient credit or debit or interest-free financing for up to 5 years. Still enjoy a fantastic 20% discount. Plus, indulge in additional savings with an extra 10% off items marked with a red clearance tag. Go check out Robert Miller and Son Furniture here in Kokomo, in the Kokomo Town
Center.
Yeah, I wanted to say square. Kokomo Town Center here in Kokomo, right off of 931 on Boulevard. So, so you talked about it. It might be the weather. I think actually what triggered it. So we were at home the other night and Aaron said some phrase that is, I wonder if I can look up previous songs played on Alexa. She said some phrase. It was something like that.
You're going to get copyrighted.
Probably. That was so
close.
That was so close to the original recording.
Yep.
But it just triggered that song in my head. So then I immediately wanted to listen to it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe country's not awful. Here's where my brain has been with country music. And like, no disrespect to anyone who loves country music. Hear me out. When I was a child and I rode the bus to school, I have distinct memories of being angry, tired, not wanting to go to school, frustrated because the music the bus was playing was so loud at like 6:30 a.m. And guess what that bus player was playing? Or bus driver was playing?
Country music.
WWKI. Country hits. Mm-hmm. So mentally, I equal country music to that moment in my life. Like early morning, busted speakers on a school bus, just awful. But maybe it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It really isn't.
It's not.
Now I feel like we should do a partnership with KI and like have them introduce me to country music.
That would be good.
I think that'd be fun.
New Kokomo Post tries.
Somebody, and like I'm like a country music DJ for a day. I think that'd be fun.
Or over to Country Palace.
Have Nick like teach you how to like love country?
Yeah.
You and I have talked about this before. I think that country music has far more staying power than any other genre of music.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there are some people that would debate what now is called country is not actually country.
Like country
keeps getting more and more pop as time goes on. As we were listening to rock and pop rock, things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of blending of genres. Right?
Yeah, but like Johnny Cash country is not country now.
No, but you think of like Shania Twain country from like the 90s or...
started this change.
I don't... Well,
Garth was back and forth too.
But Garth, exactly. I think that 100%. Like the songs that like we would think of and still know every single word to, like I think country from the 90s and the 2000s and I don't know, maybe...
What's the one we always sing? She had a barbecue stain on her white t-shirt. She was killing me in that mini skirt. Wow. Skipping rocks on the river by the railroad track.
You've been a country fan.
Yeah.
No, I've been a country observer.
Oh, okay.
But due
Country
to that
curious.
mental trauma of bus 18, Mr. Duke, who probably
goodness.
I'm telling you, he probably never fixed his speakers. I've just never been interested. The sun came out. It was 50. Aaron said something like that, and I played something like that, the song, and I'm like, maybe this is going to be the summer of country.
I think it's good. I think when we get to be in the olden days, the songs we will not be singing, maybe we'll sing a little bit of Yellow Card, but I think we will also sing and remember and feel like the I don't know, just have all the feels for some older country. I think so.
I'm also just getting older, and like the thought of being at a concert that ends at 10, and then I have to like sit in a car in a packed parking lot that's made of grass. Like, it's a lot, so I don't know, but Bree is excited because you guys probably know Bree used to work at KI, and like I've always kind of dogged country music to her. So she was very shocked when I kind of dropped this news to her this afternoon that probably I think I want to have a country summer. But Pam is the one who coined the term. I'm country curious. And I think that's I think that's a good thing.
Well, on the chat, Joe says, Drew tries square dancing. So there's an option.
No, that's different than going to a country music concert. But we have done that, actually. Yes. We did that at Cooper's.
We did line dancing.
Is there not? This is not the same
That's not square
thing?
dancing.
Square dancing.
No, I thought that was the same thing.
No, did you guys square dance in gym class?
We did.
We did.
A time or two.
Things got weird.
Not a time or two. We had it a unit into high school. We had square dancing in a New York public high school. We had, and every time seniors in high school had to square dance.
Maybe.
Wow.
Susan also
introducing you to culture.
Really glad I can Alamand left.
She grew up in New York. Susan Wyrick commented, I posted in the previous post, wouldn't it be cool to play the mayor's favorite 80s song for the intro? Which, yes, Susan, that would. But then we would also get copyright struck by Facebook. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. The music in the intro.
Yeah.
Was a Kokomo Post original. Michael Castor, who works here, he's our like full-time video editor. He literally created that entire song on his own. I told him I wanted like Jimmy Fallon, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon vibes. Like that's what I was like, the roots, like that kind of. And he killed it. And that's what we've used forever on that intro. And like, I feel bad. Like I've never actually like probably given Michael enough credit for what he did. It still hits. It's a good one.
It really does.
It's a great song. So Susan, that's a great idea. But also I don't want the Kokomo Post Facebook page to be removed by Facebook. Yes. She says kudos to him. Darn right. Okay. Anyway. So maybe we'll give an update on my country music journey on this show.
I love it.
Once a week or something like that.
Yep.
We can do
I'm going to slowly, like next week, I'll just have a piece of straw in my mouth. And like next week, I'll have a hat like the next week. And then like the final, like full version of overalls, boots, and the whole thing.
I love the visual that you are like creating for what is a country music fan.
Right, I know,
is apparently like a farmer.
So
what I love, speaking of Michael Castor, he's probably going to edit this into a clip and put those things on me.
Well, the thing is, in college, when I started getting into country music, there was a country bar downtown South Bend, and I started doing that. I wore the flannel shirt, roll the sleeves, and then the cowboy hat, and then had the boots and everything. And somebody said, dude, it's a little much. You're turning into a Coca-Cola cowboy.
Coca-Cola cowboy. See, I
just
do go
cowboy for the ass, like the Marlboro Man or something like that.
I do go to Nashville 4 times a year for like a work thing. And maybe I just need to start taking it more seriously down there. Maybe that's where I get my wardrobe for this concert that we're going to go to. Because they got boot shops everywhere. They're like Walgreens and CVS down there. There's a boot shop on every corner.
A lot of boot shops.
Buy one, get two free.
Buy one, get one free.
No, buy one pair, get 2 pair free.
Wow.
A lot of the stores do that.
How do they make money? Okay, let's get into, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
I did. I braved, again, talking Indiana weather. It was almost 60 degrees at noon, and then we get up for the rescue missions, walk a mile Saturday morning, and there's snow and ice on the ground, and people slip sliding everywhere. But the spirits were high, and it was a great morning for a brisk walk. So that was a lot of fun. And then turned around and headed down to meet my daughter to pick up her wedding gown. So that's done and ready. Things are starting to get real. But no, yesterday was kind of low key. Just kind of kicked back, got a few things done at the house. So that was good.
Love that. Yeah.
And obviously the big game Friday night. I unfortunately had another event, so I didn't make it over to Kokomo to see the final season game.
The senior night at
Kokomo.
Memorial.
So kudos to the boys.
The biggest story out of that, I mean, obviously they killed him. I think they were like doubled the other team's points. But Flory also shot and hit his first ever three-pointer, which I ran into Coach Peckinpah over the weekend, and I just asked him, like, be honest with me. What was the emotion when you saw him put up, like the instant emotion? What was like your emotion when he put up the shot? He said, honestly, I was like, go for it. We're up 40. You know what I mean? Like, why not at this point? But he drained it. He did, yeah. There's been a lot of at Memorial Gym. There's been a lot of like Kansas news stations that have started coming and like videotaping
some highlights.
Creating some highlights and then creating stories for people back home in Kansas because that's where he's like committed to go to school. But it's sectional time, man. We're going to see if the Kokomo Wildcats can make another run.
Start tomorrow night.
Tell you what, they're hot right now. They are clicking when it matters. I think they have an overall record of 21-3 right now, or close to that maybe.
2 or 3, yeah.
Which they're I know it's 3 losses. I just don't remember if it was 21 or 22 wins. But their 3 losses all came early in the season. Against really good teams too, like Indy, almost like Hamilton County Indy-based teams. That we are in no way the same team now that we were when we played them earlier in the year. We're clicking at the right time, and it's. I think Flory wants to go out with a bang, and I could see him just taking over the tournament. It's really exciting.
Hold on, folks,
and all the other teams. Good luck during in sectionals.
Absolutely,
in the whole state championship run. Should be fun. But what's going on at City Hall this week?
Taking advantage of the nice weather. Actually, believe it or not, picking up some limbs and a few bundles of leaves, believe it or not, that were left over or
all those stragglers.
So a little bit of that, not a ton. So if you've got some stragglers or whatever, give the street department a call. We'll see if we can get over there. But outside of that, we had an interesting and kind of fun lunch this afternoon. Tom Tolan, everybody knows and loves Tom Tolan. Little quirky guy in the development department, always introducing the third floor to new and exciting things, and kind of discovered a twist on chicken and waffles and actually introduced us to chicken and donut holes for lunch this afternoon.
Honestly, why not?
Yeah.
It's the salty sweet, right?
Yep.
Savory and sweet into one bite.
A little bit of syrup, and one of the staff brought in some barbecue sauce. So mixed in some a few of us mixed in some barbecue sauce as well. So went to one of our newer chicken places and got some tenders. Then went to one of our donut places, got a box of donut holes, and introduced the third floor to chicken and donut holes for lunch.
I'll be honest, that sounds a lot like my freshman dorm room. We had like just a 2-liter of Mountain Dew too. Like, how can we get donuts and chicken? Sounds good, man. Want to fire up the Xbox?
I was going to say, do you guys play some?
Exactly. It's an interesting combo of food. But leave it to Tom Tolan. I'm not surprised.
Tom Tolan. So good way to start the week.
Love that. Cool. Awesome. We have a bunch of questions pre-show right now. Usually we have maybe this much through pre-show questions as well as live chat. But let's get into
answers, brief and direct, so that we can get through them all and drag it out.
Let's get into the Ask the Mayor segment here on the Mayor Tyler Moore Show.
Awesome.
First question, which this might be a first. This was a question via phone.
Yes.
Cool. Now, I'm also not making this person's name up. This is legit her name, so much that she actually made a joke about her name with this question. So as you can imagine, question from Karen via phone. I saw on a social media website that the new Chick-Fil-A will be connecting through the neighboring Imperial Drive, but I remember you saying that was not true. Has something changed? Karen via phone. Which we have a phone.
She did laugh. She said, I
fully accept.
She said it, and then I paused, and she just laughed, and she's like, I know. It's I'm not really complaining. I just want to know, because I remember he said.
So we'll go through the quick timeline, because I know there's other questions. But so yes, early on when Chick-fil-A had announced, or there was announcements, that Chick-fil-A was looking at the Hobby Lobby site. There was, talk, traffic or whatever. And, at that time, there were no plans. I mean, so regardless, Chick-fil-A, as part of their plan, their site development plan, does not themselves connect into Imperial or are requesting that they tag or tie into Imperial Drive along 931. That has never been Chick-fil-A's plan. That has never been their request of the city. So what the representative said at the first meeting at the Board of Zoning Appeals is true. Chick-fil-A was not requesting this. Hearing the concerns that folks have had with the congestion at Markland and 931 and the access along 931, the city saw an opportunity to finally connect Imperial Drive to that parking area because an easement already exists across the front of that lot. And so yes, early on when Chick-fil-A was announced, he said, things are still up in the air. They had to get approval for variances. I mean, so there was no immediate plans early on to look at Imperial Drive, but once the variances were approved and plans continued, and we continued to receive concerns from folks about the congestion that was going to cause, that's when the city decided, not Chick-fil-A, the city decided to look at finally opening Imperial Drive, which folks have said, man, I don't know why that wasn't open when Kmart was out there. And somebody said, well, I thought it was open years ago before Kmart when A&P was out there. With the elevation change from the parking lot to Imperial Drive, it's hard to imagine that was ever open, but regardless, it is the city's desire to connect that front west side of the parking lot into Imperial Drive to offer some folks the opportunity for a better exit to relieve some of the volume of traffic. So it wasn't part of the original plan. It wasn't part of what Chick-fil-A was requesting. It's what the city has considered doing as a result of all the concerns with the congestion that is anticipated. But we plan on working. We're not taking land. I mean, so everybody says, well,
no eminent domain. Or
they came in. Folks were concerned because a letter got circulated through there, and and the city was saying that letter wasn't true. I mean, that part is true. Everything in that letter was not true. Now, there was one aspect of that said that we were going to connect Imperial Drive, but along with connecting Imperial Drive, those property owners were told that the city was going to take the front yards away, part of their front yards away by eminent domain and stuff. That is not true. We're not opening Belvedere. We're not expanding any of the streets down in there. We may look at the on-street parking along Imperial and maybe make it no parking along the 931 side, to allow that through, because there's still on-street parking in front of those homes, and some of them have driveways. But I mean, we'll probably more than likely put a yield sign or a stop sign right there at the edge of the parking lot. Probably a speed hump in order to keep folks from tearing in and out of there. I mean, so we will work with those owners. We're going to look at the traffic patterns. We're going to look at other measures, continue to hear concerns to make sure that things are done the best way possible to keep everyone safe and get traffic in. And I don't know that a ton of people will use that as an exit. If people are looking, coming GPS and they're coming from the south, they're probably going to use that exit right off of 931 when they get up to the Chick-fil-A site.
That's true.
If they're coming from the north, they're going to say, hey, there's Markland, and so they're going to turn in and come in from the north anyhow. If they blow past it and like, oh, looks like it's rerouting me, I can sneak through here right at Savoy and go back in that way. But
I think that is another point to this whole conversation, is like, this was just another outlet there, so it doesn't get too crazy, like everywhere, right? It's another option, so it should relieve like stress or pressure on just that specific one.
I still don't think that there will be the level of traffic along that short stretch of Imperial to Savoy and into the parking lot that
unless you live in that neighborhood, you're not in any way used to like driving over there. Like there'd be no purpose to. So it's definitely not going to be like a force of habit for people, like, oh, I'll just turn in there, because unless you live there, you're not going over there. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think she was needed some clarity on that timeline of like how.
And it's definitely confusing. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of people are like, oh, the city's putting Chick-fil-A there. No, Chick-fil-A had studied the area for over a year, and that's what they landed on. And yes, the gentleman from Chick-fil-A got up and said it is not our intent to connect to Imperial Drive. And so that is true. It's just after that, and looking at the plan and concerns with traffic, it was the city's decision to finally utilize that existing easement and potentially tie into Imperial Drive.
Got it. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. The next question is from Brittany on Facebook. Can the Parks Department look into the play gym at Jackson Morrow Park and consider filling the hole at the top near the slides that multiple kids fall through every year? Sincerely, the mom who wants to take her kids to play there because it's too, the kids that won't take her kids to play there because it's too dangerous, but I really want to take my kids to play there. Brittany on Facebook.
Got it. We have new playground equipment coming to Jackson Morrow Park.
Boom.
Boom.
Wow.
Is that
There
quick
you go.
enough? Goodness. Next question. Hanan through email. Can we get more dog waste trash cans along the trail, specifically on the trail off of Park Avenue heading to Highland Park?
You bet. Yeah, so we'll look at to see how many are positioned and such. It's legitimate question, especially if more people use it and other people aren't as respectful of other users of the trail and don't clean up after their dogs. We can certainly look into installing additional dog trash cans and bag receptacles on parts along the trail.
Okay. Next question is
Great
a less
request.
crappy question. Heather on Facebook wants to know, were you always great at memorizing street names, or is that something you have to study more when you become a mayor?
Probably a little of both. I mean, actually, the way I learned not just my way around town better, but around Howard County was working for Holder Mattress during my high school and early college career delivering mattresses.
That'll do it.
So that was actually probably the best at it's a handful of firefighters that also worked there during their Kelly days, and they are actually the ones that taught me how to drive a stick shift in the delivery truck, and that was
Learned a lot of that job.
very fun. They would-
Grinding.
So
We should do like a trivia game with you on like Kokomo geography.
well,
Isn't
and
that a part when you, like, in KPD training too, like they have to do
KPD definitely.
you have to know street
the
names.
FTOs. Yeah. I don't know as many. I mean, and even subdivisions. Like we had a question a few weeks back, and somebody asked about a particular subdivision,
Yes.
and it's like,
I gotta place it.
but. And so that's it gets a little confusing at times.
I went on a drive with
it helps.
my daughter last night, and we were just out the country, like Old Sycamore, was where we went, and we turned over. I'm like, oh, that's where Champagne Shores is. Like a neighborhood I've heard about my entire life. I went to Northwestern. That's Western, so like I knew it was a neighborhood somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's where it is. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it just helps. DoorDash drivers probably kill all of us on that these days.
Oh yeah.
Next question is from Susan on Facebook. I would like to know the status of the new Garden Square complex on West Sycamore because I still see a huge for sale sign on the property. P.S. Boo on attempting to add a food and beverage tax. Susan on Facebook.
Okay.
That's the first time you've been booed, I think.
So
Nah.
it's
we've been booed plenty of times.
The Garden Square. So it was the site along West Sycamore that was part of the conversion, breaking up Garden Square. And so the reason the sign's still out there, the developer is still working through financing on the multiple sites, not just that site, but also the Market Street site and then the scattered sites that all the units are being divvied up into. So they have not formally closed on that ground yet because of again, financing. So,
but even before that financing happens, you have to go through all of that red tape basically to get the
developer isn't going to be able to move forward if they aren't able to get
exactly.
And then the comment on the food and beverage tax. So there was a consideration being given for that. I mean, so we just heard from Bullpen Sports. They give an update on the economic impact that Championship Park has had because Bullpen manages both Grand Park and Championship Park. And based on not just attendance, but concessions, ticket prices into the game, the restaurants reporting stuff, the hotels reporting. I think they even figured in, flights that certain teams that had booked and such. I mean, so just the overall economic impact that they are reporting for Championship Park or for the Kokomo and Howard County area was $150 million. And so knowing that there is that much activity, there's an opportunity, especially with the amount of needs that we have for upgrades to Championship Park 2, Municipal Stadium 2, funding gaps for housing, for additional amenities that we want to put in for trails and playgrounds and parks and such. There was the opportunity. There was an existing bill that a couple other communities throughout the state were requesting a food and beverage tax, and it was a 1% cap on that. So if it was, $1 coffee, then it'd be a penny. So there was being a consideration for that, but we had abandoned that just because a lot of the timing, and we didn't have the economic impact numbers back from bullpen to see what could be warranted with that. So that's where we are.
Okay.
Nothing happened. Now.
Next question, and this is the person's name, not just like his gender. Guy on Facebook has a question. He's like, yeah, you don't open that outlet from the parking lot to the light. There will be accidents constantly and will affect if people frequently visit Chick-Fil-A. This was a comment on the Chick-Fil-A clip from last show. The houses there should not be able to decide if this happens like they did in the past. It has stopped other businesses from coming in there for 30 years. Literally, Guy on Facebook.
Okay. Thank you for weighing in. So yeah, that's part of the argument, and there's on both sides. I mean, it is. There's folks that recognize. I mean, there's been people like, man, if that would have been open when Kmart was open. I mean, this is from a few people in Cedar Crest. Like, man, we would love to have ridden our bikes without having to go through yards or whatever else to get to Kmart or E&P or something. So
sure,
Let's pretend they didn't ride their
pros
bikes
and cons.
there. They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
We were all kids. We did.
We went through yards. Yeah.
Where else would we go?
So thank you, Guy.
Next question is from April on Facebook. Bon Air Park, finally. I played on that equipment when I was a kid. All they do is keep painting them. How about some new stuff? Haven't painted lines on the basketball court in years. The backboards are terrible, so the neighborhood would appreciate some updating. Considering it is by a school zone and a fence around it would be nice and safe. Blessings, April on Facebook. She said blessings. You got to do it now.
Okay. We have new playground equipment coming to Bon Air Park.
Okay. Boom. Man,
we'll look at the basketball courts as well. I mean, if those need some love. Fencing, I mean, we'll check that out as well. Yeah, sometimes fencing, especially if you got little ones, provides a false sense of security that if, we got the kids in there, they won't scoot out or such. But yeah, we can look at that. But as we look at the needs of all the other parks and keeping costs down and where we're going, the playground equipment will be upgraded. Take a look at the basketball courts, but maybe toss around the idea of a fence around that, but possibly not. I don't want to promise that, but
we are currently 2 for 2 on park upgrades. If you have any park requests, now is your time.
Oh, Tori will kill me.
So there's
kidding.
There's a property on Mulberry Street that really could use some like turf in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
Is this when you say like, we'll get turf in the backyard? Everybody else is asking and getting what they want. I thought I'd give it a shot. Okay, next question is from William on Instagram. This was a comment on the clip from the question about decriminalization of marijuana. He said, we do not need to police it. The police abuse it to violate our Fourth Amendment rights in Indiana. County level elected prosecutors have prosecuted discretion to prosecute. That's a lot of prosecute. To prosecute cases. Marion County prosecutor Ryan Mears did decriminalize on his own executive prosecutorial discretion. Many other municipalities have capabilities to reduce arrests and deprioritize cannabis arrests. William, you are so much smarter than I am. Those are so many words I struggled with.
So it sounds like if it involves the courts or prosecutors, then that would be a matter for the county to take under consideration and do, because again, what laws are established is like we've talked about before. State can only make it more restrictive, and so how Howard County would go in regards to that would be how the city of Kokomo would follow.
Okay. Next question is from Miguel on Instagram. People are always complaining when someone opens a new business because they wanted a different business to open. What business does he wish someone would open?
Good question.
Oh, got it.
You can't say housing.
I can't say
even an apartment complex is a building or a business.
And hopefully one of the proposed House or Senate bills will support this. We need one or two more. Well, not one or two more. We need a number of daycare facilities, affordable daycare facilities for folks. But I know that a lot of the restrictions that are in place with the amount of children and age requirements, or age also determines a lot of that too, whether they're infants or toddlers and such. What is required by the state for licensing makes those a little restrictive. So what's being proposed hopefully will alleviate that and encourage some more daycare facilities to open. I'd love to see an indoor pickleball court or pickleball complex.
Okay.
So that'd be good too.
Ooh.
Maybe a combo, little daycare and pickleball combo. Just trying to be efficient, you know?
Well,
being part of the solution.
I'm not going to say, but I think there is a restaurant pickleball combo.
There is. It's like the top golf of pickleball.
Isn't it Chicken Pickle or something like that?
Yes, you're 100% right. I've seen that.
That's all we need is another chicken
Hold
place.
on. Are you saying
I got a great spot for it.
Kokomo could combine its love of chicken and its love of pickleball together?
Bam.
Yes, there's communities that have already done that.
I'm not kidding. Look it
I
up.
think it's called Chicken Pickle.
Or Pick and Chickle or Pickle Chicken. Something like that. It's real. It's like a top golf of
you can't make this up, guys.
You don't have to,
Where
'cause
would
it's
it
real.
go?
I mean, somewhere in the
Where
chicken
could we
district.
put it?
Somewhere
In the chicken district.
maybe out by Championship
How are those
Park.
plaques coming? Are they looking okay?
They are.
Chicken.
That Hobby Lobby parking lot's pretty big. I think we should throw it in there.
Yeah, I mean, it might fit. You know. Well, what's next to 7 Brew? You know, that's still
Nothing
close.
yet.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
You mean on the north side?
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
yet.
better than next to 7 Brew. That'd be still in the district, right? I feel like that would still count.
Thanks, Joe. Joe's got a link in the chat for us. Chicken
Yeah,
pickle.
chicken pickle.
He's got okay.
Oh yeah, there's one in Fishers. Of course there is.
Field
course there
trip.
is.
Field trip, y'all.
Fishers. I bet it's right next to IKEA. Goodness gracious, they get everything. All right, the next question is from, speaking of Joe, Joe within Facebook chat. He said, when is Bojangles coming? Or Moe's, he said. He'd take either.
I have not heard of either one of those fine establishments mentioning that they are interested in coming to the Kokomo market. That doesn't mean they won't, because somebody a few shows back said, hey, what's going on with Chipotle going to the front of Lowe's parking lot? I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. And literally 2 days later, I met with the planning commission director, and he's like, hey, there's a plan, or a rezoning going before the planning commission for Chipotle going in front of Lowe's. I'm like,
is there any more information on
stuff?
that? Because there was a rumor the new one is going to have a drive-through, and I've heard they might be shutting down the Markland Mall. They're keeping both open.
They are keeping both open.
Okay,
I heard from mall management, and Chipotle is staying put in the mall as well.
Because that'd be farther away from me.
Here's a question. Will the quesadilla makers be?
Oh man, those quesadilla makers, those are becoming the
With
Chipotle
respect.
McDonald's ice cream machines. Like they're always broken.
Always down.
And then they have this silly rule. You can't walk into the restaurant and order a quesadilla. You have to order it on the app. Because, okay, so when I worked at Subway, we had this too.
Maybe.
No, it's Subway had this too. We had one line that no one ever saw that was just for drive-through orders.
Yeah.
And then you have the line up front that is for the in-store guests.
Okay.
Chipotle has the exact same thing for mobile orders.
Oh.
So the quesadilla machines, I don't know what you call them. They're literally like
Presses?
giant,
A press,
but they're
maybe?
not. They look like giant like toaster ovens or like an air fryer. But somehow they might. I don't know. Those are only on the back line. They don't have room, I don't think, up front. So instead of having like someone from the staff constantly be running back and forth the lines, they're like, no, you got to order you have to order mobile, because that's where those orders come through.
Okay, well, I take it back. Maybe it's
No, it's still dumb. They just get another machine. You're Chipotle. Like, I'm not justifying it. I'm explaining it. Those are two
well,
different things.
I appreciate that, but I will say the only time it's been, in my eyes, not operational is when I ordered in store. But now I know the reason.
It's a mobile order only.
The more you
That's
know.
just it. They're seeing your additional quesadilla maker and raising you by a whole new restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That seems like costs a lot more
there you
money,
go.
but that's fine. Hey, so those are the questions for the Ask the Mayor segment. Rock through those. Got some parks built today. That feels good.
Look at that.
This was very effective.
So funny.
Yeah. So if you have any questions of the mayor, leave them in the chat below. We'll get them for next week's show, as well as we always post something on Mondays where you can, which I'll be out next Monday. So either Aaron or Bree will be hosting this show, but you can always leave them in the comments of that, or apparently you can call us. So we have a phone number on our Facebook page or on our website. You can call us and answer or submit questions like Karen did, or you can email aaron@thekokomopost.com. So a lot of different options to get your questions in. Thank you to everybody who always submits those questions. Thanks for Susan. I feel like this is like your 5th show in a row you've been watching live and commenting, so I really appreciate it.
Great questions too, guys.
Good stuff.
Mr. Mayor, do you have a dad joke for us?
I do, yeah. So Wildcats are finishing up their season. Bobcats are getting ready to kick theirs off. Have you ever been to either one of their teams' practices?
I've been to a Bobcat practice, yeah.
Because you notice they sweat so much more at practice than they do during the games.
I guess I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's because of the fans at the game.
That's good.
That's all right.
And timely.
That's all right.
That's a great joke. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. Go out and enjoy the weather because it's going to rain tomorrow. Go enjoy the weather tonight. If I told Aaron earlier, if we don't go on a family walk tonight, I'm going to be ticked. Go enjoy it. Spring is coming. Love you, Kokomo. We'll see you soon.
See you, Kokomo.